All right, this should be a very interesting week given last week candle close took out the 3 previous weeks prior. It was just a massive downward candle. So we'll take a look at some mid time frame, high time frame stuff, and then, of course, our lower time frames here. So we've been trading this wedge in regards to a reverse impulse. So 1, 2, 3, and now put on our 4th wave. I do think that our wave 4 is in. I do not think that we'll break this high again for some time. It happened literally the week of that I was looking for it to happen, the week of August 20th, which made it shorter than our wave 2, which is exactly what I was looking for. And now we can look to complete our wave 5. So there's a couple things we'll take a look at here. Wave 5 has to be shorter than your wave 3. So our wave 3, same time frame, would put us at November 5th. So ultimately our wave 5 has to be put in before November 5th. Okay. And with this bottom being put in here, and we have this move up now, and we're looking at some degree of a move down, we can take a look at some possible harmonics, maybe something like this. And what's interesting about this harmonic is it suggests that this B wave has to be put in this week in order for the overall harmonic to complete before November 5th, right? So if we draw that out, that puts us at about October 30th. And it can happen sooner, a little bit later than that, but it has to just happen before November 5th, right? So really, if we're going to have some kind of a pivot upwards and then have our move down in something of a harmonic formation, then we do have to put in that bottom pivot here and get some degree of a move up, fail to take out the high, and then really plummet down. And we'll take a look at this and I'll show you why I really like this a lot. What's cool about this formation is that it takes into account this wedge here. So we have not actually got our third. We've had 1, 2. We have not had our third touch on the top of the wedge. And that is super bearish, right? For this to not have the strength to make it to the top of the wedge is a really bearish thing, okay? And it's likely that at the point that we do tap it or break through it, it'll be at a much lower price level than this, right? We're not gonna have a massive pump up and break through it. So what I really like about this is typically on the third touch, you would expect us to break down. You would expect a rejection. I think it would be really interesting to see price, get down to this monthly level that we've been talking about for a long time, find support there, and then, start to get a move up here and actually break through this resistance trend line that it's failed to break through for a very long time. Get people bullish, right? Because like I had said in my trend line tutorial video, we had talked about this, that when price breaks through a trend line like this, it could be an early signal to market structure change, right? But ultimately, market structure would not have changed yet, right? That's why it's an early signal. So ultimately, you want to look for support and then kind of a move up. So if we were to get this breakthrough here, then reject here, get people bullish, right? Because we broke out of it, and then have our dump down, use this resistance line as then support in this bullish harmonic for then, a move up. So I do really like this setup. I think it has a lot of nice confluence with this wedge and our overall plan and our impulse wave. So it's something to keep an eye on. Now, with that said, we haven't even completed a B wave yet, so this is extremely theoretical, okay? Let's take a look at just more of what I'm looking at for this week. I would really love to see something like this. So one of 3 things can happen, right? Either price goes up, sideways, or down. I would love to see a shakeout candle where we get a pump up here with a wick and then close the daily somewhere down here. I think that would be a really, really nice shakeout candle. Just get a massive pump and a huge rejection down. And then, follow through, get to this monthly, look for some degree of a long here, a long signal, a long setup, and then get our move up, our temporary move up right before then coming down later on. I would love to see a setup like that. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Otherwise, you know, we can continue to go sideways, and we've been trading that. We've been trading this channel really nicely, so we'll take a look at that too. Last night I posted in the Discord, I said as a follow-up to my channel tutorial video, we have this, you know, live example of a channel. So we had this high here and our two lows that gave us the ability to draw this horizontal channel with great respect to the bid line, right? So it's a nice channel, that's how you know. And then I caught two short trades, one here, took profit at the midline, another short here, took profit at the midline. I was not awake to take profit down here or open this long, but ultimately there's been 3 trade opportunities, 2 shorts, 1 long, take profits at the midline. On this short here, we managed to get a full rotation of the range as well, so that's been working out really nicely. So if we don't get one of our scenarios that we had talked about in our mid time frame or high time frame, in the next couple days here, we can still look to trade this range in the meantime. Okay. We'll take a look at ES1 very briefly here. Okay, so last time we had taken a look at this, we were looking at this area as our next level of resistance. That played out very nicely. This key weekly level that was support lost, resistance, then broken through. I think that, you know, when we get back down here, I expect price to sort of put in another small range like this before then deciding to come back up to retest this daily, or then getting a move down, say to our key level, this daily, or even back to the top of the channel here. But I would expect some degree of a pause here, which could come into play for Bitcoin, you know, and give us an opportunity for some of those scenarios that we had talked about. We'll take a look at DXY very briefly here. Last time we had looked at, price was lost below this weekly level here, and I had said that, you know, if we pump back up and we get a reclaim, we can look higher. Otherwise, I would have looked for some degree of a range. So we'll have to wait to see if we can take out this high. Then ultimately the next level of resistance would be this 786 here at about 110, which would be a psychological level. But we can see we are just slashing through levels right now, right through, straight through this 618 macro fib fan, and straight through this untapped weekly that we had here. So yeah, and you know, ultimately this is sort of my line in the sand. This is my do not cross box. I do not expect price in DXY to go much higher than this. This is a yearly level at 116 that dates back to, let's take a look. It dates back to 2001. So it's a massive level of resistance. You know, maybe we'll get some degree of a push up to the psychological 120, but this general area is kind of where I expect this parabolic run to either slow or come to an end. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. Taking out this high is very, very key, but we are getting a massive pump here. So we'll have to wait and see. And just know that, again, ES1 and BTC are both inverse to DXY. So if DXY is getting a pump, we can expect BTC or ES1 to be range bound or to actually be getting a decrease in price.